There's a lot of challenges in the marketplace, and I touched on how fast the industry is moving. And you've got, e-commerce getting bigger, and it's making it harder on brick and mortar. But the really smart brick and mortars are diversifying the inventory they carry, and most of them are starting their own websites and getting creative on social. And so the retail model, in my opinion, has changed more in the last 5 years than it has in the last 20 years, which changed more in the last 20 years more than it did in the last 100 years. So it's such a rapidly shifting business model, and the segment is moving so fast. If you look specifically with our key product segments, strings, there's been more innovation in the last 5 years than there was in the last 25 years. Everybody's really stepping on the gas to try to make their voice heard in what can be a very challenging platform to be heard in, because everyone's loud and everyone's on social and everyone's on digital and everyone's, so it's definitely changing, and there's challenges, but I think if you're doing the right things the right way, you can really succeed right now, because there's no debate about it. It's never been easier to promote something. I mean, you can, with a snap of your finger, reach out to hundreds of thousands of your fans that you couldn't do even 10 years ago. If I were to give advice to aspiring entrepreneurs, I think that it's almost cliche to say follow your passion, but really it's one thing if you've got an idea, and it's one thing if you're so driven to execute that idea, you don't allow yourself to have a plan B. You are so hyper committed and focused on making your passion your business, you're going to be really good at it, and you're going to be really hard to compete with long term. So I think, as cliche as it might sound, find out what you love. If it's guitars, if it's sports, if it's eyeglasses, I don't know, whatever it might be, find out what you love and be so hyper focused, committed on executing what you want to do, and don't have a plan B, and chances are you're gonna succeed. How we promote our company attracts potential candidates and talent, and I think we've always stayed very true to our roots, and there's an authentic soul to our company that I think naturally might make people want to join us, that are maybe a good fit for us. There's great talent incubators like LinkedIn now, and other platforms that it's pretty easy to connect great talent with really great opportunities. At Ernie Ball, we really like to promote from within. So what you'll find in a lot of cases, and this is a really, really fortunate thing to have, is in many cases there's not a lot of turnover. So a lot of our employees have been working there for 25, 30 years. And a lot of them start, say, checking the diameter on a string. And then they get promoted into shipping. And they get promoted into sales. Then maybe artist relations. So there's kind of a continued evolution at Ernie Ball, that there's this training by doing. And we like to promote from within to give people opportunities. I think the current state of the industry is challenging, but at the same time, last year, the data that I've got is it was the fourth biggest guitar sales year in the history of guitars. So I think that it's gotten harder to survive as a retailer because the bigger guys are getting bigger, but I also think that it's also creating opportunities for, when I think of a music shop, and what I love about a music shop is the experience I get when I walk into a music shop, and the vibe. It's a little gritty, and it's a little edgy, and you walk in and you see guitars, and you see old vintage amps, and you can smell the tubes, and you see big string displays. And to me, nothing's ever going to replace that experience if you're a musician. So I don't think brick and mortar is going anywhere, because I think that it's different than going to buy batteries or laundry detergent. You're going to buy something that is so important to what you get to create. And so I think the industry as a whole is getting more challenging. But on the flip side, I also think that you've got new forms of media. I keep saying this, but you've got new forms of media that are allowing people to express themselves with an instrument better and quicker than they ever have. And I think that that's the least talked about and biggest driver in our industry. It's the fact that someone can take a guitar, learn how to play their favorite song through a YouTube cover, and guess what? With an iPhone or with whatever other device they have, they can record themselves playing and then promote it to all their friends on Facebook or YouTube. And I think that self-promotional wave that's kind of happened with the millennial generation has really driven interest back into the guitar.